The wealth shift. Unlock the secrets the rich teach their kids. That the poor and middle class never learn. Most people work their entire lives believing a dangerous lie. Get a good education, find a safe job, work hard, save money, retire at 65. But what if I told you that advice, the very advice trusted by millions, is the reason most people stay poor their entire lives? The truth is unsettling. The rules of money that you were taught are outdated. Worse, they were designed to keep you dependent, compliant, and expendable. Meanwhile, the rich, those who seem to move effortlessly from one success to the next, were taught a very different set of lessons about money, risk, and opportunity. This book is about exposing the gap. It's about tearing apart the myths that keep you trapped and showing you, step by step, how to break free, just like the wealthy do. You don't need to be born rich. You don't need insider connections. You don't even need an Ivy League education. You need new rules, and that's exactly what you'll find here. By the time you finish this book, you'll see money, work, and opportunity through a completely different lens, and you'll be ready to take control of your future in a way you never thought possible. Let's begin. Chapter 1. The Two Fathers That Changed Everything. You can learn more from two contrasting perspectives than from a lifetime of one-sided advice. I grew up with two fathers, one rich, one poor, and the lessons they taught me couldn't have been more different. Only one of them led me to financial freedom. The other would have led me straight into the rat race. Which father are you learning from? The lessons you learn early about money dictate the life you end up living. If you follow traditional advice, work hard, save diligently, fear debt, and avoid risk, you may survive but never thrive. But if you adopt the mindset of the wealthy, using money as a tool, embracing smart risk, and focusing on building assets, you open the door to limitless possibilities. Mindset creates outcomes, and your financial mindset determines your financial destiny. Growing up, my poor dad was everything society said you should admire: educated with advanced degrees, hardworking, dedicated to job security, believed that salary growth was the key to success, warned me constantly, study hard so you can find a good, secure job. My rich dad, however, had little formal education, but he owned multiple businesses and real estate assets. He taught me, don't work for money. Make money work for you. He encouraged entrepreneurship, asset creation, and strategic investing. Psychology tells us that early modeling, the behaviors and beliefs we absorb from role models, becomes unconscious programming. Your default settings about money aren't yours. They were installed by the people you grew up around, and if you don't consciously reprogram yourself, you'll unconsciously live by their limitations. Action steps. Identify your money programming. Write down the top 5 beliefs about money you heard growing up. Example: money doesn't grow on trees. Rich people are greedy. Debt is bad. Challenge. For each belief, ask, is this absolutely true? Who benefits if I believe this? What would a wealthy person believe instead? Choose one new wealth principle. Replace one limiting belief with an empowering one this week. Example: replace money is scarce with money is abundant and flows to value creators. Tease the next chapter. In the next chapter, we'll explore why the school system, designed for a different era, sets you up to become an employee, not a wealthy individual, and why you must take responsibility for your own financial education if you want to escape the trap. Chapter 2. Why financial education matters more than school education. If academic success guaranteed financial freedom, professors would be billionaires. They aren't, because traditional education teaches you how to memorize, obey, and conform, not how to create wealth. If you don't build your own financial education, you're building someone else's dream, not yours. The system you trusted to prepare you for life deliberately leaves out the most critical subject: money. You were taught how to solve for X, but not how to solve for financial independence. You were taught to follow instructions, but not how to create assets. You were taught to fear mistakes, but not how to learn from failures. Financial education, the ability to understand money, assets, liabilities, investing, risk, and value creation is the true education that leads to freedom. If you don't control your financial education, you don't control your life. My poor dad was a brilliant academic. He had multiple degrees from prestigious universities, but despite his education, he struggled with money his entire life. He worked tirelessly, yet he lived paycheck to paycheck. Every financial emergency, medical bills, car repairs, unexpected layoffs, threw him into stress and fear. Meanwhile, my rich dad, who never finished high school, invested in assets like real estate and businesses. He spent weekends studying investment opportunities, learning tax strategies, and networking with other entrepreneurs. He wasn't book smart in the traditional sense. He was financially smart, and that made all the difference. Psychology reveals a brutal truth. Humans are wired to learn what is rewarded. In school, you are rewarded for correct answers and punished for mistakes. But in the real world, mistakes are where all growth and wealth happen. School punishes mistakes. Financial education embraces mistakes as stepping stones to mastery. Action steps. Start your financial education today. Commit to learning about money the same way you would a college subject. Read books on investing, entrepreneurship, real estate, and financial psychology. Listen to podcasts from self-made millionaires and investors. Follow channels that teach you how to build and protect wealth. Shift your reward system. Instead of rewarding yourself for getting it right, reward yourself for taking action and learning something new about money, even if it feels uncomfortable. Track 3 things every week. 1 financial concept you learned. 1 financial action you took, no matter how small. 1 financial mistake you made and what you learned from it. Growth is exponential when you normalize learning through action. Tease the next chapter. In the next chapter, we'll destroy one of the biggest myths that keep people trapped. Work hard for money. You'll discover why the rich don't work for money. They make money work for them, and how you can start flipping the game in your favor immediately. Chapter 3. The rich don't work for money. They make money work for them. Most people live trapped in a never-ending race they never question. Wake up, work for a paycheck, spend it. Worry, repeat. This endless cycle isn't just exhausting, it's by design. The system rewards obedience, not freedom. It teaches you to trade your time for money, then ties your survival to a job you're too afraid to leave. But the rich figured out the ultimate secret. Money is a tool, not a master. Instead of working harder for money, they make money work harder for them. Imagine waking up knowing that whether you show up or not, your investments, your businesses, and your assets continue pumping cash into your accounts. That's real freedom. Not asking, "Can I afford it?" but deciding, "Is it worth it?" When I was a young boy, my rich dad gave me a simple but brutal lesson. He offered me a job at his convenience store for 10 cents an hour, far below minimum wage even at that time. I slaved away for hours, sweeping floors, stocking shelves, and cleaning. After a few weeks, angry and frustrated, I confronted him. He smiled and said, "If you think 10 cents an hour is bad, what do you think working for money your whole life will feel like?" That was the moment he planted the idea. Don't chase paychecks, chase opportunities, build assets, create systems. Money should never be your goal. Freedom should. The truth is, the poor and middle class work for money. The rich build or buy assets that generate money without their constant labor. An asset is anything that puts money into your pocket. A liability is anything that takes money out. Most people confuse the two. They think their house is an asset. They think their car is an asset. They think their job is security. But the reality is brutal. Your house costs you money every month. Your car drains your bank account with gas, maintenance, and insurance. Your job can disappear at any moment, and with it, your livelihood. The rich build assets that grow without their presence. Rental properties that pay them monthly. Businesses that run with strong teams and systems. Investments that appreciate and pay dividends. Intellectual property that earns while they sleep and they start early. They understand that money invested smartly compounds like wildfire, turning small, early efforts into unstoppable financial momentum. Behavioral science backs this up. Humans tend to prioritize short-term rewards, a paycheck, over long-term wealth, investments, assets, because our brains evolved to survive immediate threats, not to plan for 30 years ahead. Unless you train yourself to think like the wealthy, you will always be seduced by the quick dopamine hit of the paycheck and miss the slow, powerful build of real freedom. Breaking out of the cycle begins with a radical mindset shift. Every dollar you earn is a seed. You can either eat it, spend it, or plant it, invest it. Here's how you start flipping the script today. Every time you get paid, before you spend a single cent, allocate a percentage toward building or buying assets. It can be small at first. Even 10% is powerful when compounded over time. Start building streams of income that don't rely solely on your labor. This could be a side hustle, investing in index funds, or learning how to purchase cash-flowing real estate. Constantly. Ask yourself before any major purchase, will this put money into my pocket or take money out? The more you align your life around building assets, the faster you escape the paycheck trap. One of the biggest breakthroughs I ever had was realizing this. The rich view money as a tool to create more freedom and more opportunities. The poor view money as the end goal. Don't chase money. Build systems that print it for you. In the next chapter, you'll learn the next critical secret: how to identify and create real assets that work for you, even while you sleep. And once you master that, everything changes. Stop right there. This isn't just a video. This is a turning point. You're not here by accident. You were meant to see this. If your heart's beating faster, if something inside you just woke up, do not ignore that feeling. Like this video. Not for us, but for you. To lock in this energy. Share it, because someone out there is lost, and you might be the reason they wake up. Subscribe right now, because we're not done. This channel is about to blow your mind. Again and again and again. This is more than content. This is a revolution, a mindset, a mission. And if you felt this even for a second, then you're part of it now. So don't just watch. Join the movement. Like, share, subscribe, or scroll back to the same life you're trying to escape. Your call. Chapter 4. Mind your own business. Build assets, not just a salary. The harsh truth is that most people spend their lives building someone else's dream. They clock in, do their jobs, and go home exhausted, only to repeat it all the next day, year after year. Meanwhile, the owners, the shareholders, and the asset builders quietly grow richer, no matter what the economy does. If you want true financial freedom, you must stop merely working for a paycheck and start minding your own business. This doesn't mean you need to quit your job tomorrow or burn every bridge behind you. It means that from today forward, you treat your financial life like a business. You stop thinking like an employee and start thinking like an owner. Most people confuse their profession with their business. Your profession is what you get paid to do. Your business is what builds wealth for you, your growing portfolio of assets. This distinction is everything. You could be a doctor, a lawyer, a teacher, a designer. But if you rely solely on your salary and spend every dime you make, you're still just an employee in someone else's empire. The truly wealthy, even when they start with day jobs, always build something on the side: real estate, investments, stocks, intellectual property, or businesses. They pour part of their energy into assets that work for them, not just into jobs that need them to show up. Every paycheck is not a trophy. It's fuel. It's meant to fund your real business, your personal empire of assets. When I was young, my rich dad would often say, "Keep your day job, but mind your own business." At first, it sounded confusing, but he explained, "Use your salary to invest in things that grow. Over time, the assets will replace your salary. That's when you're free." Think about the psychological trap most people fall into. They get a raise, and what do? They buy a bigger house, a new car, a second vacation. Their expenses rise with their income, a phenomenon known as lifestyle creep. In the end, they're still trapped, just in a nicer prison. Financially free people act differently. When they earn more, they invest more. They live below their means and expand their asset column relentlessly. It's not glamorous at first, but a few years down the line, while others are still begging for bonuses or worrying about layoffs, they're living on their own terms. Building assets is a discipline of vision. It requires you to delay gratification. It demands that you think long-term when everyone around you is obsessed with the short term. Here's how you start shifting immediately. Begin tracking two simple numbers: how much you spend every month, how much your assets earn for you every month. Your goal is simple. Make the second number bigger than the first. Every time you earn extra, a bonus, a tax return, a side hustle. Check. Challenge yourself. How much of this can I allocate toward buying assets that produce income? Educate yourself aggressively. Learn about stocks, real estate, business building, intellectual property rights, any arena where assets are born. Protect your time. Your evenings and weekends are the raw materials of your future empire. Don't waste them all on Netflix or endless scrolling. Dedicate even a few hours a week to your own business. It's not about overnight transformation. It's about consistent, focused action, planting seeds today that will pay you every day for the rest of your life. Minding. Your own business is not just a financial strategy. It's a mental revolution. It's reclaiming control of your life's work, your energy, and your destiny. While others are stuck chasing promotions, hoping someone else notices their effort, you'll be building an empire that doesn't need permission from anyone. In the next chapter, we'll dive deep into the real engine of wealth, understanding the power of assets versus liabilities, and how a small mental shift will completely change the trajectory of your financial future. Because once you see money through this new lens, you'll never play the old game again. Chapter 5. The Power of Financial Literacy. Numbers. Tell the real story. Most people think they know money. They can balance a checkbook. They can pay bills on time. Maybe they even save a little every month. But true financial literacy isn't about managing money. It's about understanding how money truly works. Financial literacy means being able to read numbers the way a skilled musician reads music. It means you can look at a financial statement and see the story hiding between the lines, whether it's a story of growth, struggle, or silent opportunity. The brutal reality? If you can't read financial numbers, you're flying blind. It doesn't matter how hard you work or how good your intentions are. The numbers will either quietly work for you or silently work against you. Rich Dad used to hammer this into me. If you want to be rich, spend time learning how to read numbers. Most people never do, and that's why they stay poor. The wealthy don't get emotional about money. They get analytical. They look at assets and ask, is it growing? Is it producing cash flow? What's the return on investment? They look at liabilities and ask, is this draining my wealth? Is this an expense disguised as an asset? Understanding numbers gives you power because numbers don't lie. You might tell yourself, I'm doing fine financially. But when you look at your actual income statement and balance sheet, you realize the truth. Maybe you're spending 95% of your income on liabilities. Maybe your net worth is shrinking, not growing. Numbers expose illusions. They shatter wishful thinking. They force you to face reality. And reality is the foundation upon which real wealth is built. This is why so many people who win the lottery end up broke within a few years. They had a surge of cash, but no financial literacy. They didn't know how to make money work for them. Without the skill of understanding numbers, even a fortune slips through your fingers like sand. Financial literacy starts with simple but profound habits, knowing the difference between an asset and a liability. If it puts money into your pocket, it's an asset. If it takes money out, it's a liability. It's that simple and that powerful. Tracking your income and expenses with brutal honesty. Understanding the basics of cash flow, profit, loss, equity, and debt. You don't need a degree in finance to be wealthy. You just need to master the basics, and then apply them with relentless consistency. Once you train your mind to see numbers clearly, your decisions change automatically. You don't fall for flashy cars you can't afford. You don't sink money into investments that drain your cash flow. You spot opportunities others miss, and you move with quiet, confident precision. The reason most people stay trapped isn't lack of effort, it's lack of clarity. They don't know where they really stand financially, and they don't know how to move from where they are to where they want to be. Numbers change that. Numbers become your roadmap, your scoreboard, your guiding star. The greatest investors, entrepreneurs, and wealth builders in history weren't always the smartest in the room, but they were almost always the clearest about the numbers. Financial literacy isn't just about survival, it's about empowerment. When you master the language of money, you master the game of life. In the next chapter, we're going to uncover one of the richest secrets the wealthy use: how they leverage corporations, legal structures, and tax strategies to accelerate wealth while everyone else pays the price. And once you understand this, you'll realize just how rigged the traditional system is, and how you can finally turn the odds in your favor. Chapter 6. Why the poor and middle class focus on income, and the rich focus on assets. Most people spend their lives trapped in a cycle they never even realize they're in. They believe the answer to their financial problems is simple: earn more money, so they hustle harder, climb higher, and chase bigger salaries. Yet no matter how much their income grows, their financial stress doesn't disappear. Their lifestyle inflates. Their obligations expand. Their dependence on their paycheck tightens like a noose. They think they're winning, but they're just running faster on the same treadmill. Rich Dad exposed this to me early. The poor and middle class work for money. The rich build assets that work for them. It's a fundamental difference in thinking. The poor and middle class say, "I need a better job." The rich say, "I need better assets." Assets are the engines of true wealth. They are investments that put money into your pocket. Whether you're awake or asleep, rental properties, dividend-paying stocks, royalties, businesses, assets generate cash flow, grow in value, and create freedom. A paycheck, on the other hand, is a leash. The moment the paycheck stops, most people are one or two missed payments away from panic. They are financially dependent, even if their paycheck is large. This is why some doctors making $400,000 a year still live paycheck to paycheck, and why someone else with modest investments quietly retires decades earlier, living life on their own terms. The truth is, the system is designed to keep you focusing on income. Schools teach you to get good grades so you can get a good job, so you can earn a good salary. They don't teach you to own assets. They don't teach you to build passive income streams. They teach you to be a well-behaved employee who feeds the system. Income makes you feel powerful temporarily. Assets make you free permanently. Understanding this shift changes everything. When you focus on assets, your goal is not just to work harder, it's to work smarter. You start asking different questions. Is this new car an asset or a liability? Will this investment put cash in my pocket every month? How can I take today's income and turn it into tomorrow's freedom? One of the biggest traps is lifestyle inflation. Every time people earn more, they upgrade their car, their house, their vacations. They spend today's rewards without planting seeds for tomorrow's security. They impress people who don't even care, while chaining themselves to decades of work they may not even love. The rich think differently. When their income rises, they buy assets first. The cash flow from the assets eventually buys the luxuries. And when the luxuries come, they are paid for by money that keeps regenerating itself. They aren't trading time for money. They are building money machines. This is why you'll often see wealthy individuals living below their means early on, aggressively investing in assets, while their friends chase appearances. Then, seemingly overnight, the wealthy leap ahead, financially untouchable, while others scramble to catch up. Financial freedom is not built by earning more. It's built by owning more. Every dollar you earn today holds the potential to either buy a fleeting pleasure or an enduring asset. One choice strengthens your dependency. The other strengthens your independence. Your future wealth is hidden in your current habits. Are you accumulating assets? Or just stacking liabilities disguised as rewards? In the next chapter, we'll uncover the essential skill that ties this all together: learning how to sell, negotiate, and persuade. Because financial intelligence alone isn't enough if you can't create opportunities through influence. Mastering this will turn every connection, every conversation, every deal into a potential step toward your richer life. Chapter 7. Overcoming Fear and Taking Calculated Risks. Fear is the silent killer of dreams. It's the voice that whispers, "What if you fail?" It's the invisible fence that keeps millions trapped inside the life they secretly want to escape. Every day, people choose security over possibility. They stay in jobs they hate, stick with investments they don't understand, and avoid opportunities because of a single emotion: fear. But here's the truth. Fear itself isn't the enemy. It's how you respond to fear that defines your future. Rich Dad once told me, "Courage isn't the absence of fear. It's acting in spite of it." He taught me that the greatest rewards in life almost always require stepping into the unknown. Meanwhile, the poor dad mindset seeks comfort above all else. It avoids anything that carries risk. It clings to the illusion of stability, steady paychecks, fixed routines, predictable outcomes. But what most people don't realize is that comfort carries its own risk. The risk of never growing. The risk of waking up decades later full of regret. The rich view risk differently. They don't blindly leap into danger. But they don't run from it either. They study it. They learn how to evaluate opportunities with sharp eyes and calm nerves. They develop what I call the risk intelligence, the ability to take smart risks while protecting their downside. Most people think taking a risk is reckless, but calculated risks, where you know the worst-case scenario and plan around it, are the very foundation of wealth. Think about starting a business. Yes, it's risky. You could fail, but you can mitigate the risk by building a safety net of savings, by testing ideas before investing heavily, by learning from mentors who have already succeeded. Think about investing in real estate. Sure, the market could crash, but you can reduce the risk by buying properties below market value, by ensuring strong cash flow, by understanding your numbers better than anyone else. Fear keeps you poor. Learning how to assess, manage, and embrace risk makes you rich. One of the biggest myths society teaches is that avoiding risk is safer, yet inflation erodes savings. Jobs can vanish overnight. Economies shift. Industries die. The greatest risk is thinking you can stay safe by standing still. Movement, not stagnation, is security. Growth, not safety, is your armor. Every successful person you admire, every entrepreneur, investor, leader, has a history, littered with failures, mistakes, and moments of gut-wrenching doubt. What separates them from everyone else is that they moved forward anyway. They built a muscle most people never develop. The muscle of acting even when their hands were shaking and their voices were trembling. Every time you take a calculated risk, you grow stronger. You expand your capacity to handle uncertainty. You trust yourself a little more, and over time, you realize something life-changing. The worst-case scenario almost never happens, and even if it does, you're more resilient than you think. The ultimate wealth isn't just financial, it's emotional resilience. It's the ability to face challenges without being paralyzed. It's the knowledge that no matter what happens, you can adapt, rebuild, and rise again. If you can master fear, you can master your life. Because behind every risk you're afraid to take lies a future you've only dared to imagine. In the next chapter, we're going to explore the hidden money traps almost everyone falls into, and how the rich sidestep them effortlessly to keep building unstoppable momentum. Stop right there. This isn't just a video. This is a turning point. You're not here by accident. You were meant to see this. If your heart's beating faster, if something inside you just woke up, do not ignore that feeling. Like this video. Not for us, but for you. To lock in this energy. Share it, because someone out there is lost, and you might be the reason they wake up. Subscribe right now, because we're not done. This channel is about to blow your mind, again and again and again. This is more than content. This is a revolution, a mindset, a mission. And if you felt this even for a second, then you're part of it now. So don't just watch. Join the movement. Like, share, subscribe, or scroll back to the same life you're trying to escape. Your call. Chapter 8: The Psychology of Wealth. How your beliefs create or destroy fortunes. Wealth is not just built with money, it's built with your mind. Long before you earn your first dollar, your beliefs about money are already shaping your future. Most people don't realize they're carrying invisible scripts. Scripts inherited from parents, schools, society, scripts that sound like, money doesn't grow on trees. Rich people are greedy. It's selfish to want more. If I'm not struggling, I must be doing something wrong. These unconscious beliefs control every financial decision you make. They influence how you spend, how you save, how you invest, or whether you even believe you deserve to be wealthy at all. Rich Dad hammered this truth into me early. Your outer world is a reflection of your inner world. If you believe money is evil, you'll subconsciously sabotage yourself whenever you start to succeed. If you believe money is freedom, you'll find ways to attract it, manage it, and multiply it. Beliefs act like thermostats. Set your thermostat at 68 degrees. And no matter how much external heat you pour in, the system will find a way to cool things back down. Similarly, if your wealth thermostat is set at just getting by, you'll unconsciously make decisions that bring you back to that level, even if opportunity is knocking at your door. Think about lottery winners. Nearly 70% of them lose all their winnings within a few years. They had the money, but they didn't upgrade their beliefs, so they found ways to return to the financial temperature they were comfortable with: struggle, chaos, scarcity. Meanwhile, self-made millionaires often lose everything and then rebuild faster than before. Why? Because their belief system is wired for abundance, resilience, and value creation. You don't attract wealth by wishing harder. You attract wealth by becoming the kind of person who handles wealth responsibly, confidently, and intelligently. That transformation begins in your mind. It starts by questioning the hidden assumptions you've carried for years. Ask yourself, do I see money as a tool for freedom or a source of stress? Do I believe opportunities are abundant or scarce? When I think about becoming wealthy, do I feel excitement or guilt? If your answers reveal negative associations, it's not your fault. Society glorifies struggle and demonizes success. We're conditioned to feel noble about scarcity and suspicious of abundance. But the truth is simple. Money amplifies who you already are. If you are kind, generous, and wise, having more money lets you express those qualities on a bigger stage. Changing your financial destiny isn't just about learning tactics. It's about rewiring your beliefs at the core. It's about choosing new mental scripts like money allows me to serve at a higher level. Abundance benefits everyone, not just me. It's noble to become wealthy when I use my wealth for good. Repetition matters. You didn't absorb limiting beliefs overnight. You won't erase them overnight either. But with daily awareness, affirmations, and intentional action, you can build a new identity, one that naturally attracts and handles wealth. The rich aren't lucky. They aren't smarter than you. They just think differently about money. And that difference creates everything you see on the outside. The greatest investment you can ever make is upgrading the operating system inside your mind. When you do, money flows naturally because you're no longer fighting yourself. You're aligned. You're ready. You're inevitable. In the next chapter, we'll dive into the real strategies the wealthy use to spot golden opportunities and how you can train your mind to see what 99% of people miss. Chapter 9. Work to learn, not just to earn. Most people ask one question before accepting a job. How much does it pay? That's the wrong question. And it's why so many stay stuck in a cycle of survival instead of growth. The rich think differently. They see every opportunity not just in terms of a paycheck, but as a stepping stone to skills, relationships, and knowledge that multiply wealth over a lifetime. Money earned today disappears fast. But skills compound. Skills feed you for life. Rich Dad made it painfully clear. If you're working only for money, you're making someone else rich. Every job you take, every project you join, every mentor you work with should be evaluated through the lens of what you're learning, not just what you're earning. The poor and middle class chase bigger salaries, believing that higher income will eventually equal financial freedom. But no matter how high the salary, if you don't own assets, or better yet, the ability to build assets, you'll always be dependent. Meanwhile, those who master valuable skills, sales, marketing, leadership, investing, negotiation, build empires. They create their own paychecks. They spot opportunities that others are blind to. They control their destiny. It's not about quitting your job tomorrow. It's about changing your mindset today. Instead of asking, how much will this job pay me this year? Ask, what will this job teach me that will make me unstoppable in 5 years? Instead of saying, I'm not getting paid enough to do that. Think, if I learn this skill, how much will it pay me over my lifetime? Real power comes from versatility. The ability to sell, the ability to communicate, the ability to understand financial statements, the ability to lead a team through chaos, the ability to invest when others are afraid. These skills don't just appear, they are built through experiences, challenges, and yes, sometimes working for less money now to earn limitless returns later. Robert Kiyosaki himself took low-paying jobs early on, not because they paid well, but because they taught him critical business skills. He worked in sales to conquer his fear of rejection. He studied investing while most of his friends were chasing promotions. He learned leadership by managing small teams long before he built companies. He wasn't working for a paycheck. He was working for mastery. Mastery, once earned, cannot be taken away. Recessions, layoffs, downturns, none of them can strip you of skills. But a high salary with no skill growth? That can vanish overnight. The real game is not immediate income. It's lifetime leverage. Every hour you spend learning a timeless skill is an hour that multiplies your future earning power by 10, 100, 1,000 times. Be willing to be a beginner. Be willing to do the hard, unglamorous work that builds real competence. Be willing to take short-term steps backward if it means giant leaps forward. Those who focus only on earning will always be trapped. Those who focus on learning will one day own the building. If you shift your mindset from paycheck to portfolio, from worker to investor in your own growth, you're no longer playing the small game. You're preparing yourself to be unstoppable. In the next chapter, you'll discover the hidden traps of taxes and inflation, the twin forces quietly eroding most people's wealth, and how the rich play an entirely different game to protect and multiply their money. Chapter 10. Taxes and Corporations. How the rich legally pay less. Most people believe paying taxes is just part of life. They shrug their shoulders every time their paycheck is cut down, never questioning if there's another way. The rich don't think that way. They understand the system is built to reward those who know how to play the game, not just participate in it. Robert Kiyosaki's rich dad taught him one of the most counterintuitive lessons early on. The more you work for money, the more you get taxed. The more your money works for you, the less you pay in taxes. At first glance, that sounds unfair. Dig deeper, and you realize it's simply a matter of financial literacy versus financial ignorance. The average employee gets taxed first and spends second. The wealthy flip that order completely. They earn, spend through their businesses, and then get taxed on what's left. It's not about cheating the system. It's about understanding the rules. A corporation, no matter how small, is a powerful shield. It's a separate entity, a legal structure that allows the rich to channel expenses through the business before taxes are calculated. While an employee pays taxes on their entire salary, an entrepreneur or investor pays taxes only on their profit after expenses. Imagine this. You earn $100,000 as an employee. The government taxes you heavily up front. Maybe you're left with $70,000 to live on. You earn $100,000 through your corporation. You first deduct legitimate expenses: travel, education, equipment, meals, vehicles. Maybe $40,000 is spent reinvesting in your business and yourself. Now you're taxed on only $60,000, not the original $100,000 legally, ethically. Using a structure available to anyone willing to step outside the employee mindset. The tax code, despite its thousands of pages, isn't really a punishment manual. It's an incentive manual. It rewards behaviors that build the economy, creating businesses, providing housing, producing jobs, investing in growth. Those who understand this don't fear taxes. They design their lives around them. They create businesses, they invest in real estate, they own assets that generate tax advantages. Robert Kiyosaki's journey wasn't about working harder at a job. It was about learning how to build structures, companies, investments, asset portfolios that allowed him to keep more of what he earned and reinvest it again and again. One of the simplest steps toward this strategy is setting up a basic corporation, or LLC, once you start earning money from a side hustle, freelancing, investing, or entrepreneurship. Even modest income streams, when structured properly, can be shielded, nurtured, and scaled. The wealthy don't leave tax planning to April 15th. They design their entire year, their entire financial strategy, around minimizing unnecessary taxes and maximizing investment. Contrast that to the middle class who scramble to find a few last-minute deductions while their largest wealth-building years slip away under heavy taxation. It's not about greed. It's about control. The more of your money you keep, the more options you have. The more options you have, the more you can invest, grow, and ultimately live life on your terms. You can stay stuck resenting the rules, or you can learn to master them. In the next chapter, we'll dive even deeper into how building your own business and investing in assets aren't just about income. They are the fastest path to freedom, security, and true wealth creation. Chapter 11, Action versus Excuses. Why most people talk, but the rich act. Talk is cheap. It's easy to say, I'll start tomorrow, or one day I'll figure it out. Everyone talks about success, about how they wish they could break free of their current financial situation, but that's where it ends for most. The rich, however, don't just talk about success. They take action. They don't wait for the stars to align, for the perfect opportunity, or for the perfect moment. They act in spite of fear, uncertainty, and failure. Because they know, as Robert Kiyosaki's rich dad always said, action is the key that unlocks the door to opportunity. Here's the thing. Success doesn't require grand ideas. It doesn't require waiting for the right time. What it really demands is consistent, bold action. You don't need everything to be perfect to take the first step. You need the courage to take that step despite the fear of the unknown. Look at any successful entrepreneur, investor, or business owner. They didn't wait for someone to tell them exactly how to do it. They acted, made mistakes, learned from them, and kept moving forward. And over time, those actions compounded, turning them into the people they are today. On the flip side, the average person sits back, afraid of making a mistake, waiting for the right moment that will never come. They make excuses. I don't have the time. I don't have the right resources. I'm too old to start now. But the reality is simple. Excuses keep you stuck. If you're waiting for the perfect moment, you're giving up the only thing that guarantees success. Action. Action creates momentum. Momentum creates progress. Progress creates results. Every millionaire, every business owner, every person who has ever become truly wealthy has one thing in common. They took action when others were still talking. Take, for example, the world's wealthiest investors like Warren Buffett. Buffett didn't wait for everything to align perfectly to begin investing. He started early when he was just a teenager and learned by doing. He didn't worry about making mistakes. Instead, he embraced them as lessons. In the business world, too many people wait for perfect circumstances before acting. But by the time they think they're ready, the opportunities are gone. The rich, however, know that you don't need a crystal clear plan to begin. They just need to start. In fact, one of the reasons most people never succeed is they fail to realize that action leads to clarity. You won't get all the answers before you start, but with each step you take, more will become clear. For example, if you want to start a business, don't wait until you have all the money and all the ideas. Start small. Create a simple product, get feedback, and iterate. As you act, the obstacles you thought would block you become the stepping stones to your next breakthrough. Each challenge teaches you something invaluable. While everyone else talks about what they want, the rich are out there doing it. They embrace the discomfort of action, the discomfort of failure, and they know that it's better to fail forward than to never fail at all. When you stop making excuses and start acting, you'll find that things you once thought impossible begin to unfold before your eyes. You'll gain experience. You'll build confidence. And most importantly, you'll take control of your financial destiny. You don't have to know everything. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to wait for the stars to align. What you do need to do is start now. In the next chapter, we'll explore how to convert your actions into wealth-building strategies that create real, long-lasting financial freedom. Chapter 12, Your Financial Freedom. Blueprint, Building Your Rich Life Now. The idea of building wealth can feel overwhelming, like there are a million steps to take before you can achieve financial freedom. But here's the truth. You don't need 1,000 steps. You need a clear, actionable blueprint. This chapter is your roadmap to creating the rich life you've always dreamed of, and it starts right here, right now. The journey to financial freedom is not a sprint, but it's not a slow crawl either. It's about making consistent, strategic decisions every day that build the life you want. So let's break it down into the essential building blocks that will guide you through the process. Step 1. Shift your mindset. Before you take any action, you must first shift how you think about money. The rich don't look at money the way the average person does. They see it as a tool, not something to hoard or fear. They understand that money works for them, not the other way around. Start by adopting the mindset of someone who is already rich. This isn't just about thinking positively. It's about actively training your brain to think in terms of opportunities, not obstacles. Abundance over scarcity. The rich don't see a lack of money as a barrier. They see it as a challenge to overcome, a problem to solve. When you shift your mindset, everything else follows. You stop being a passive observer of your finances and become an active creator of your financial destiny. Step 2. Build assets, not income. The key difference between the rich and the poor is their focus on assets, not income. While the average person focuses on working harder to increase their paycheck, the rich focus on acquiring income-generating assets. What are assets? Real estate, stocks, businesses, intellectual property, all the things that can create passive income for you. This is the financial freedom you're after. It's not about how much you earn per hour. It's about how much you can make while you sleep. Start small if you need to. If you can't afford real estate yet, consider building your portfolio with stocks or investing in side hustles that generate additional streams of income. The idea is to make your money work for you, not just earn a paycheck and spend it. Step 3. Master financial literacy. Financial literacy is the foundation of wealth building. Understanding how money works is your first step to mastering it. The rich are not necessarily the smartest, but they are often the most financially literate. They know how to leverage debt, minimize taxes, and make the most out of every dollar. Learn to read financial statements. Understand the basics of taxes, the stock market, real estate investing, and how debt works. Financial literacy gives you the confidence to make smart financial decisions, take risks, and build your wealth faster. Step 4. Create multiple streams of income. If you rely on just one source of income, you're limiting your potential. The rich don't put all their eggs in one basket, they diversify. Whether it's real estate, stocks, a side business, or investments in other people's businesses, creating multiple streams of income ensures that if one source fails, you're still covered. The key is to start where you are. You don't have to build everything at once. Begin with 1 or 2 streams of income, and as your financial knowledge grows, add more. Step 5. Take action. Now the blueprint above won't work unless you take action immediately. Waiting for the perfect moment. The right opportunity or the perfect conditions will only keep you stuck. The moment you start, the momentum begins. Whether it's making that first investment, launching your side business, or cutting back on unnecessary expenses, start today. The people who build real wealth are not those who wait for life to be perfect. They are the ones who seize the opportunity and act in the face of uncertainty. They know that action leads to clarity, and the more they act, the more they learn, the more they grow. Remember, it's not about waiting for the perfect conditions. It's about starting with what you have. This is your blueprint. Your time is now. Conclusion: your journey to financial freedom starts today. If you take away just one thing from this book, let it be this: you are capable of creating your rich life, starting today. There's no magic formula, no get-rich-quick scheme, but there is a proven path that anyone, no matter where they start, can follow to build real wealth. It all starts with the decisions you make right now. You don't need a perfect plan, the perfect job, or the perfect financial situation to begin. What you need is to start, and the more you act, the more you will learn, the more you will grow. Throughout this book, we've uncovered the real secrets to wealth that most people never learn. Financial education is more important than traditional schooling. The rich don't work for money, they make it work for them. Success is a game of assets, mindset, and action, but ultimately the key to your success is action. You now have the why blueprint. Now, it's time for you to get to work. Stop waiting for the perfect moment. Stop making excuses. Your rich life is waiting for you. It's time to act and make it a reality. Your financial freedom begins today. The next step is yours. Stop right there. This isn't just a video. This is a turning point. You're not here by accident. You were meant to see this. If your heart's beating faster, if something inside you just woke up, do not ignore that feeling. Like this video. Not for us, but for you. To lock in this energy. Share it, because someone out there is lost, and you might be the reason they wake up. Subscribe right now, because we're not done. This channel is about to blow your mind, again and again and again. This is more than content. This is a revolution, a mindset, a mission. And if you felt this even for a second, then you're part of it now. So don't just watch. Join the movement. Like, share, subscribe, or scroll back to the same life you're trying to escape. Your call.